In this video, we'll discuss the adjustment of the ZEV Fulcrum trigger. We will begin by ensuring that the firearm is safe and unloaded. The magazine has been removed. I will visually inspect the chamber, and I have confirmed that this firearm is safe. We will begin by removing the slide from the frame, and then by removing the pins and the trigger system. I have a trigger that I have already removed from the frame, and on this trigger there's a set screw in the front to adjust the pre-travel adjustment, which is the trigger movement before the trigger breaks, as well as a set screw on the back of the trigger to adjust the over travel movement, which is the movement after the trigger breaks, which also serves as a trigger stop. The adjustments are made with this special .035 Allen wrench. This is not something you're going to be able to find in your regular hardware store. If you need a replacement, please contact us directly. The set screws are held in with thread locker, so in order to make your adjustment, you will need to heat it with a cigarette lighter flame for a couple of seconds only. That should be enough for this adjustment. The adjustment screws turn in very small increments. The adjustments are made clockwise to shorten the pre-travel or over-travel, and counterclockwise to lengthen the pre-travel or over-travel. These settings are pre-adjusted from the factory, and the majority of our customers find they need to make no further adjustments. If you do need to make adjustments for your shooting preferences, you absolutely can. In this specific one, I am going to adjust the pre-travel screw. You can also see in this side window, there is what we call our adjustment window, where you can actually see how much adjustment you're making with this wrench. The factory adjustment is adjusted so that this wrench just slips through this opening. And the tighter this opening is, the less pre-travel you have, and the looser it is, the more pre-travel you have taken out of this trigger. This feels proper to me. The over-travel screw on the back of the trigger is the factory adjustment is flush with the trigger pad. I can probably remove a little bit out of this. We recommend that use very small turns, 1/8 of a turn to 1/16 of a turn at a time. A little goes a long way. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. And then this trigger is probably adjusted correctly for this gun, I can tell from experience. Now, after you make any adjustments to the trigger, you will need to test and evaluate it in your gun to make sure that it's set properly. And if you determine that it is set properly, we recommend that you apply more thread locker to these adjustment screws so that they do not move or back out on you over time. How that is done by reasserting the wrench into the set screw, notating where this wrench is indexed. For example, I'm going to say this one's indexed about 11 o'clock. So we are going to turn the wrench counterclockwise 2 full turns, indexing it back to 11 o'clock, which will expose enough threads for us to reapply some blue thread locker on. And then we will go back in clockwise 2 full turns, indexing back to 11 o'clock, and then allowing the thread locker to set up and set overnight before firing the pistol. This concludes the adjustment portion of the Fulcrum trigger. Again, the front set screws adjustment for the pre-travel, which is the movement before the trigger breaks. That's adjust clockwise to shorten the pre-travel, counterclockwise to lengthen the pre-travel, and then the over-travel is the back set screw, same method, clockwise to shorten, counterclockwise to lengthen.